Hi guys, welcome back to What's the Matter. Liam again here with Chris. He's just out of work, clearly. Sorry I haven't been here in the last couple of weeks. Bits and pieces have come up and I haven't been able to be here, but I'll have a recap on the previous 2 weeks' games. After first, it has to be today. The topical thing today is the Europa League draw. St.Etienne, what's your thoughts on St.Etienne?
It's a good draw. I think it's a big competition for us now, and when we get a good draw like that, it puts us in a good position to kick on and hopefully use that as at least a backup to a potential top 4 place to getting into the Champions League next year.
This is actually a question I was going to ask you. Would you rather, if you were given the choice now, would you take winning the Europa League and finishing 5th or finishing 4th?
That's a no-brainer really, because winning the Europa League straight into the group stages, qualifying from 4th place, it's an easy choice. I'd take the trophy and the guaranteed qualification.
But people would argue by going out of the Europa League now, you'll have more time to concentrate on the league. So you've maybe finished 3rd or push up. Personally, I'm just playing devil's advocate. I don't think that's going to happen. But
you can't rely on that competition. It's a cup competition. It's like anyone. You can't rely on the fact that you're going to get through. It doesn't matter. Even a team like St.Etienne. Yeah. The fact is, in a cup game like that, although over 2 legs, it's not quite as likely that there can be an upset. I think you have to try and take the league position as your bread and butter.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think the league position should be your bread and butter. But I mean, look, if you look at some of the other teams in the competition compared to last year, I mean, Dortmund, Sevilla, well, obviously won it the last 3 years. They're not in it this year. You know, so some other great teams in it last year that aren't in it this year. You look at the competition this year, and it's not. There's no one you would say, oh, a bit worried about them. With the exception of Roma, I think Roma look pretty good. Shakhtar Donetsk as well are all right. It's only because it's a hard place to go to.
Villarreal are in there too. I mean, I don't really know much about La Liga this season, haven't followed it very closely, but Villarreal are a team that stand out to me in the draw. But it's a much nicer picture this season than it was last year. Yeah. At this stage or whatever stage we entered the competition last year, it was scary. I mean, it ended up going badly for us against Liverpool, but
yeah, I don't want to talk about that.
But this year, it's looking at the teams that are in there, we should have a very good chance of winning that competition.
I was just about to ask, so realistic predictions, you think we should be, personally I think semi-final, final at least.
There's no reason why we shouldn't win that competition, unless something goes majorly wrong. We'll just have to see.
It might be a case of us against Tottenham again, like it was last year against Liverpool.
I take that. I think over two legs, that certainly we should be able to beat Spurs.
Pardon me. Well, given yesterday's result, they didn't really look like they turned up or wanted to know at all. No. Much like us against Liverpool last year, I suppose, in the Europa League. But even still, I still think we'll give it a good go. I'd like to think we'll be semi-final, if not final.
I think we have a very good chance of doing that. As I say, it's a cup competition. You can't always predict it, but realistically, that's the type of finish. 2nd place, 1st place, that's what we should at least be coming away with, I would say.
I mean, let us know at home what you think. Where are we going to finish in the Europa League? And would you rather take winning the Europa League and finishing 5th or finishing 4th and concentrate on the league for the rest of the year? Let us know. So now I can move on to the last, I suppose, 6 or 7 games that we haven't been able to report on for one reason or another. If we just go back to the Feyenoord game at home, where we won 4-0, then West Ham 1-1, then we beat them 4-1, then drew with Everton 1-1, then beat Zorya, then beat Tottenham 1-0. So the first thing that jumps off the page to me straight away there is we're unbeaten. That's 8 games unbeaten. Now, if you watch each individual game, it's obviously a different story altogether because, I mean, against Everton, Fellaini threw it away, last kick of the game, didn't he? Tottenham 1-0, should have been 3 or 4, really. We should have put that game to bed. West Ham 1-1, there's another one. You know, those are points we're dropping. But ultimately, we still haven't been beaten. I think it's 8 games unbeaten now.
No, it's the hindsight thing, isn't it? When you look back at the Arsenal game, conceding late, the West Ham game, the Everton game, those points would have us right in the mix.
Yep.
If you even go back further and you think about Stoke and Watford, like those points would have been so major for us and would be right in the mix of what's going on at the top of the league.
Funny you should mention that, actually. That was my next point that I've actually got written down here. If we have not conceded those late goals, or the stupid goals as it were, against the last 4 teams we've drawn against in the Premier League, that's 8 extra points. 8 points, which is
big difference.
8 points, before the Spurs game, would have put us right in the mix for Champions League. I think we would have been a point behind top 4 there. But obviously with City being beaten at the weekend, well, not just beaten, tore apart by Leicester, and us beating Tottenham, I just had to get that in there.
Took pleasure from that.
Well, yeah, I really did. And us beating Spurs yesterday, it's now only down to 6 points. Now, we were on this show 3 weeks ago. I think it was 9. Was it 9 points? 10 points? I think it was 10 points.
I think it was 8 points.
8
actually,
points.
the last time.
Whatever it was, anyway. And we were talking about we're on the fence about whether it's going to happen or not. Surely that had to, now it has to be like this isn't.
I think we're in exactly the same situation as we were a few weeks ago. Granted, we've got a few more players playing properly and stepping up their game now, and we look like. I mean, for the last few games, those draws, a few of those games, it's looked like we could really be putting something together here. It's starting to feel a little bit excited about some of the football that's being played. Whereas the last time we had this conversation, 8 points behind, all I could see was there's 4 or 5 better teams than us in the league. It's starting to be a little bit clearer now. Everton have fallen away slightly. I
was wrong there. I tipped Everton top 4 at the start of the year.
Well, it's
and they played well the first, I suppose, 8 or 9 games. They looked like a decent side. But I always said that I didn't think they had the squad.
Yeah.
But and you said that as well. Didn't think they had the squad, but I was proven wrong there. I thought they'd be a lot better than where they are now.
Well, you still never know. I mean, we haven't done anything yet, and Spurs, if they can get anything back to how they played last season, could again put a bit of distance between us and them. It's going to be interesting to see. If you ask me now to predict, I can't. I'm less sure. I mean, a few weeks ago I was sure we weren't getting top 4. I'm less sure of that, but I still think it's a big task. The teams that are in the top 4 at the minute are good teams.
Yes, but do you not think, I mean, this is one thing that I've noticed over the past 3 or 4 weeks. We seem to have found a stride, some kind of rhythm in our play. And I don't know whether it's team selection in that he's kind of done what I said. He was going to do and drop Fellaini and play Herrera and like give Pogba a little bit more space and freedom to roam about. With Mkhitaryan coming back as well, he scored a great goal at the weekend. It wasn't just his goal. It was his all-round play. He looks sharp. He looks like he wants to be involved.
He does.
You were talking off camera beforehand about Mourinho has basically done exactly what he should have done there. He kind of shielded him from the media and let him progress by himself.
I think he's been well managed. I think Mourinho, I made this argument, I think it was the last show that we were on, that Mourinho has done a good job so far with a bad crop of players. I think he's calling certain players that I think need to kick up the backside out, and he's nurturing other players. He's man-managing well, I think, there.
Yeah.
And as he said himself, I mean, sometimes I watch Mourinho and I think, just stop the sulking, stop crying about things, because he does have a habit of the poor me situation.
I know, yeah.
I'm sick of hearing the word luck. I don't think that should come into a Man United manager's vocabulary. But he is doing a good job there, and he is really managing that crop of players as well as he possibly can.
I'm inclined to agree with you.
I know we had this conversation about whether he should be publicly shaming players. I think he knows the players that need a kick up the backside, and that's why he's called them out publicly. I mean, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes, what's going on with Luke Shaw, but the Mkhitaryan situation, the player that we saw at the start of the season isn't the player that we're watching at the moment.
I agree.
I mean, look, he's managed to get his face up on the screen.
Takes a lot to get on this screen. Usually it's Rooney and some kind of controversy with Wayne Rooney, but today it's Mkhitaryan. No, I'm inclined to agree with you 100%. I haven't been Mourinho's. If anyone's been watching the show over the past 6 or 7 weeks, I haven't exactly been Mourinho's best mate. I've criticised him quite a lot, but I'm inclined to agree with what you're saying here. He seems to have finally got the players almost to gel together. One thing that I wasn't really taking into consideration was, I mean, these players have never kicked a ball together before. It's not with Mourinho's tactics and the way he likes to play. So it's taken a little bit of time to get there. I do think, I'm not saying we're 100% nailed on, that's it for the next 3 or 4 years, we're going to win everything. But it's going to take time to get there. But we're starting to show signs of maybe a little bit more confidence, especially going forward, than what we had beforehand. And I think it's evident to see. And we haven't lost in 8 games. You know, and
that's the Mourinho
hopefully
way.
We can kick on.
The Mourinho way is don't lose until you're strong enough to really push on and win. And I really think from the beginning I've thought he's got a bad set of players there. He's got a bad squad. He's added some quality to it, and there are some decent players in amongst that.
Yeah.
But what he has to do is polish a diamond there, or polish a rough diamond, and really turn it into something that is worthwhile. Players have to show, players that maybe haven't been good for us in the past need to show that actually I'm worth a place in this squad.
Yeah.
And he's really trying to turn them around, and if they're not doing that, then I think in the not too distant future they're going to be shown the exit.
I do agree with you, but I still don't think the best way to do it is behind closed doors. Now, you don't probably come out and shame your players.
I don't know what the best way is to do that, but I think whatever way he's doing it at the moment, it seems to be working. Yeah.
No, I'm inclined to agree with you. So now that he seems to have eradicated the individual errors, well, for the better part anyway, are we seeing the top 4, top 3 finish?
I don't know.
Mate, do you know what?
It's
I
very
can see
tough to call.
you make a good point in that it's still 6 points, 7 points, whatever it is, right? But I mean, that's nothing. Look at City get turned over at the weekend.
It's not nothing, but I get what you're saying. We're looking much more capable of closing a 6-point deficit than we did a few weeks ago.
And especially with the Christmas period coming up, right? I was thinking about this afternoon, right? Guardiola has no experience with that amount of games in such a short period of time, especially given his current squad, as well as Conte. Now, again, Chelsea are on fire at the minute. They look unbeatable, but he's another one. He hasn't had that kind of experience of so many games over a short period of time. I know Spurs have, Pochettino has, but I mean, so what?
Christmas
Spurs are the biggest choke artist going. The Spurs fell apart yesterday. They are though. So let's talk again. Mourinho has this experience. So where are we going to be?
Christmas looks
January?
good for us, and I said before the last few games that from Spurs, Arsenal, Everton, and West Ham, we needed to take maximum points from that. And if we could, then we'd have a chance to look at the top 4. Actually, I was saying that thinking that most of those top 4 teams were going to take maximum points from that same period, and they really haven't. So it's left us in a situation where if Christmas goes well for us, then we could really be close. So we have to take our good form and take that into the festive period. But I really hope Mkhitaryan's back for that run again.
Oh yeah, I agree. I've read today that he's only out for about a week or so, that his injury isn't that bad. Yeah. Fingers crossed. But it's again, Mourinho doesn't like to just throw players back into the deep end once they come back from injury, does he? See, having said that,
he complained about them being injured a few weeks ago.
Oh yeah.
So
he can't win.
I think he will. I think the way he has improved our quality of play up front has been very, very good to see, and I think he will throw him back as soon as he can. I think what we're seeing is, based on Mourinho's tactics, the way he changed the team. I mean, that team of players is used to playing sideways for the last couple of years.
I know.
On the first day of training, they must have gone a forward pass. Excuse me.
Michael Carrick's allowed to play.
So they're acclimatising to that, and it's taken them time to get used to it, and hopefully they're not used to it yet, and we're going to see further improvements over the next few weeks.
I have to hold my hands up and say that I was jumping on everyone's back at the time. We were talking, go back 4 or 5 weeks saying, especially, I'm not going to advocate playing for a draw. I'm never going to do that. But at the same time, you kind of see his reasons behind it, because you got to give time for him to allow to play together.
I hate to see him moaning. I don't like to see him moaning as much as he does at times. But what I do have to back him up and say is that the media love to get on his case, and he is right in what he says.
He brings it on himself though, Chris.
No, but listen,
he does.
What he says, what he's been saying at the moment is, when my teams are playing badly and the results aren't good, but the quality of play is good, then it's all about my poor results. It's not about how well my team are playing. But when my team are winning and not playing so well, it's all about style of play isn't good enough and not about the results. So we can't win. So it's either...
If we can win, if he plays good football and has good results.
No, but he can't win with the media is what I mean. He can't win because whatever he does, everyone just they all want to jump on the Mourinho bandwagon, because let's be honest, in press conferences, they know they're going to get a one-liner out of him if they just throw something at him. He's going to throw the head up, he's going to throw his toys out of the pram, and he's going to say something that's going to sell newspapers for them. So they're all at it. They're playing a game with him. But he's getting a lot of stick.
Mourinho was always really good. Saying he doesn't deserve it's a different story. He's the manager. He's supposed to be the one taking the flak. He's the one getting paid big bucks to make those big decisions. I'm not saying that we should all jump on his back no matter what. I mean, I've never been as big as fan. Even when he was at Chelsea, I didn't really like him that much. But he's our manager now. I'm going to support him. Just because I don't agree with him doesn't mean to say I'm not going to support him.
He's building something and it's going in the right direction. So let's all get behind him. And I don't know if this is on the agenda for later on. I might be stepping on your toes here, but let's support the players too. Fellaini, when he's warming up on the side of the pitch, doesn't deserve United fans to be booing him. The fella's doing his job. He's turning up for work like the rest of us do, and he doesn't deserve United's own fans to be booing him whenever he's warming up. I said this to you earlier. There's Liverpool players, Arsenal players, there's players from every team run up and down that sideline and warm up every game that don't get booed, but yet our own player just goes out to have a warm up and he gets booed by our own fans. I think that's disgraceful.
I agree. I think it's a bit forced.
However bad you think he is, be a keyboard warrior on Facebook, talk to your mates about it, sit in the pub, have a pint, say how bad he is. By all means, everyone's entitled to their opinion.
But not at the game.
But I don't think the fella deserves, whenever he's turned up for work, to be getting booed for doing his job.
I do agree with you. Everyone knows my opinions on Fellaini. I don't even think he should be anywhere near the stadium, never mind in the matchday squad. But I would agree with you here. At the end of the day, you're there to support your players. It's like you go back to the whole thing. Remember when England got booed, whenever Rooney was the captain? Was it Southgate's first in charge, or maybe it was against Iceland? Whenever it was, anyway. And there was a whole big kick up about why do you boo your own players, and rightfully so. You shouldn't. Ultimately, you're there to support them. Why pay all that money not to support them? Right. Regardless of what you think about him, ultimately it's Mourinho's decision whether he's going to play or not, and you have to support your manager and support your own players.
Support the team. I mean, whether you agree with him playing, whether you like him or not, ultimately you want the team to do well, and by getting on his back, it's not going to make him play better.
No, it's going to damage his confidence. I can see people's aggravations with it because he's terrible, he's awful. He cost us 2 points at Everton. God knows how many points he cost us before that with his poor displays of football.
He did cost us those points at Everton,
but you're still right though. You should still support him. He's still your player.
Yeah.
He's still one of your own. Or he's
still wearing the shirt, and you support whoever's wearing that shirt.
Exactly. So I suppose that in a way will lead me on to my final point. Then we need this. You're talking about Mourinho building a team and getting rid of Fellaini. Hopefully, it's number one. Who do we bring in? Who's got to go and who's got to bring in? Who's going to bring in?
We have to clear some spaces, definitely.
Right. For me personally, Fellaini, Rojo has to go. He's had actually a couple of good games, Rojo, but that doesn't make up for his poor.
He's not. You're right. I think he has played well, but we need a better quality centre half in there. I think we need a right back.
Yep.
Darmian's not good enough.
He's okay. Darmian's good enough if he's going to be prepared to play almost that Phil Neville role, where he's sitting the bench until he's called upon, and he's not going to be arsey if he doesn't play for 9 games in a row, and then he'll come on and he'll do a job for a couple of games, and then he'll disappear again for another few games. If he's going to play that off the bench impact, if and when needed, impact is supposed to be the wrong word, off the bench if and when needed, but is he going to be able to do that? How old is he, 22, 23? He's not going to play that role forever. He's going to want to be playing first team football.
I think we need a good quality regular right back.
I think Seamus Coleman is the way forward.
I would love to see Seamus Coleman signing. I think Valencia is wasted at right back. He's a good player there, but I think he's wasted there. I think
even if he is a right back, let's just for talk's sake say Valencia is a right back, you still need cover. You can see for the past couple of years how many times he's been injured, whether it's niggly injuries or real serious injuries. He's been out quite a lot, and we do need cover in there. Now, whether your cover would be in the shape of Seamus Coleman and move Valencia on somewhere else, so be it. But that's I think he's the ideal.
Seamus Coleman's coming in.
That's what I mean.
If we were to sign him, I mean, that's a top-notch signing if we could get it. I think we need a right back. I think Depay needs to go. Absolutely. I don't think he's bringing anything to that team. I feel
a bit bad for Depay because, I mean, ultimately Mourinho hasn't really given him a chance. I know Van Gaal did and he was terrible, but I don't know. I think a loan move to Everton. There's been talk of a loan move to Everton, and I think that'd be a great shout for him. If he could go there and we'll take Coleman the other way, that'd be lovely.
A loan move in general might be an idea because he was quality in Holland. He just hasn't shown it here. I don't know whether the pressure or the step up's too big for him, but he hasn't shown it, and I don't think he deserves the chance to show it because there's so many players ahead of him in the queue, and the whole squad needs game time. And if there's players that aren't getting game time who are sitting beside him on the bench, who are better than him, then they deserve to come in ahead of him. Depay needs to go. Fellaini needs to go. I don't think Sneijderlin's ever going to.
He's never
going
to play,
chance,
is he?
So I think
I think he's going to go.
It's time to go. I think we should cash in on him before maybe it's too late.
I agree. It's a bit disappointing actually because I quite liked him in Southampton, and I was really upbeat about him whenever we signed him, thinking he could be almost maybe not as good as Roy Keane, but the next kind of mould of Roy Keane in there.
I thought he was going to be a player, but whether it's through hasn't been given enough of a chance. I mean, he played quite a few games last season and he didn't have that much of an impact. So I think it's time to move him on.
I think Mourinho will burn no bones about it and just get rid of him.
We need to sign a long-term replacement for Michael Carrick. Carrick is brilliant. I mean, the record that we have under Michael Carrick this season, whenever he's been in that midfield, is phenomenal.
But how do you replace that? How do you? It has to be someone who's going to be prepared to come and sit on the bench effectively for 2 years before they play every game.
I think the only way we're going to achieve a replacement for Michael Carrick is to get back in the Champions League, and by the time that happens it might be time for Michael Carrick to move on or to hang up his boots. So long term I'd be liking the likes of Tony Cruz. That'd be the ideal replacement.
Stop. That's like my fantasy.
But I mean, he's playing
before he signed for Madrid. I wanted Cruz at United.
Look at the club he's at. It's hard to sign players like that of that quality. So I mean, to sign a player of that quality, you have to sign them before they get to the likes of Madrid, I imagine.
I don't know, you think that Mourinho would have some kind of sway, wouldn't you, as a manager? And I mean, we're competing with the best clubs in the world for wages.
Well,
it's all about that Champions League, though, isn't it?
It's all about Champions League
also
and competing in the league.
Yeah. What has he done at Real Madrid? I mean, is he one of England's to win at Real Madrid? It's time for a new challenge, kind of thing. So he becomes United then, but it doesn't necessarily have to be Toni Kroos, but a player of that ilk, as it were. Yeah. Because I mean, what is Kroos now? 29, 30. You want someone a little bit younger who's going to be there a bit longer.
So long term, if you're asking me what players we need, I'd say a right back, a good quality centre half, a replacement for Michael Carrick, and we need another striker.
Yeah, striker. Ibrahimovic isn't going to cut it, not forever.
Well, he is cutting it, but
what I mean is it not long term?
Yeah, not long term.
What happens if he gets injured?
Yeah, we need another.
The way Mourinho was always played with every team was a big, ugly, knock 7 bells out of a centre forward. He has with every team he's been at. Yeah. So Ibrahimovic fits the mould there. Is there someone else out there he can take on? Who are we talking? Benzema?
The one he sold at Chelsea.
Who?
Lukaku.
Oh, I'd love to.
Basically,
I said this a couple of years ago.
We need to get on the phone to Everton and say, right lads.
Come in, what's happening, mate? No, I know, yeah. Just rate Everton of all their players, no. He won't leave though, will he? He won't go to United.
He would cost big money.
You're talking 50, 60 million. We have the money, I suppose.
We need to get in the Champions League next season.
Yeah.
And I think until that happens, we can't really talk about signing the top players that we need to kick on.
But we're talking about this coming transfer window. I mean, ultimately, he's not going to bin off 4 players now, is he?
No.
He's not going to do it.
I mean, we can't plug all of those gaps in one transfer window.
Yeah.
What I'm saying there is over the course of 3 transfer windows, 4 maybe.
I'd say probably 2 or 3. I think you're probably right. At least January and summer, and see where we go. I mean,
that's my Christmas list. You know, that's my. These are the players that I want.
Lukaku and Toni Kroos, please. And if it's been extra good this year, you're gonna have Seamus Coleman. Let us know what you think. So just to summarise all that up, then we have a couple of questions. How have you found our stride so far in the last 8 games or so unbeaten, and do you think we're good enough to finish top 4 now? Where will we be come January the 2nd, given the fixture list over Christmas and the fact that the other 3 top managers at the minute haven't really experienced it in the Premiership as of yet, and transfers in and out for January? Who needs to go? Who needs to come in? Let us know. If you haven't subscribed already to the channel, the banner will be coming across the bottom of your screen right now. Click and subscribe to United People's TV, and let us know what you think. See you next week. Thanks very much. Bye bye.
Thanks.